People who cut off their family, what did they to you? I don't talk to my mother anymore. I cut her off completely a few years ago, and sometimes people still ask me why. It's hard to explain without sounding dramatic, without feeling like I'm setting off landmines just by saying what happened out loud. But the truth is, she used to beat the shit out of me, constantly, violently, and no one knew. I was a kid, just a kid, and somehow everything I did set her off. I'd walk too loudly or spill a little water on the counter, and suddenly I'd be getting dragged by the arm, screamed at, slapped, shoved, worse. I remember once, must have been around 8 years old, she woke me up in the middle of the night and made me stand in the bathtub while she poured freezing cold water over me. Said I talked back earlier that day. I hadn't. I just said I was tired. She had this way of doing it only when we were alone. She waited until Dad and my sister were out, until no one could hear me cry. I stopped crying after a while anyway. I learned to go quiet, learned not to react, learned how to lie and smile and act like everything was fine at school even when my ribs ached or my head rang from where she slammed it into the wall. She put my face in a garbage bin once. Not a regular garbage bag, an outside bin that was already full. There were maggots crawling all over the top. I had forgotten to tie the bag closed before throwing it in. That was the only reason. I remember gagging, crying, trying to twist away, and she just held me there, shoving my face into the stench like I was some kind of animal. Told me I'd learn from it. Said I needed to respect the house. And the worst part? I never told anyone. I didn't think I could. I was terrified. I thought maybe it was normal, or maybe it was my fault. Maybe I was a bad kid. Maybe I deserved it. So I said nothing. My sister didn't know. My dad didn't know. I told them years later, after I'd moved out, after I'd started therapy, after the panic attacks and sleepless nights and compulsive people-pleasing had followed me into adulthood like ghosts. When I told them, it was like dropping a bomb. My sister cried. My dad sat silently for a long time, and I don't know what went through his head, but he believed me. That mattered more than I expected. My mom still calls my sister sometimes, leaves her voicemails, asks how I'm doing, says she doesn't understand why I won't talk to her, says I'm being ungrateful, says I should let the past go. The thing is, I've tried. I've tried so effing hard to make peace with everything that happened in that house. I've spent years in therapy, weekly sessions, trauma work, diagnoses, PTSD, anxiety, borderline personality disorder. I've unpacked it all, over and over, until I can finally talk about it without shaking. Until I can finally fall asleep without checking the locks 3 times. Until I can finally walk into a room without assuming I've done something wrong just by being there. I'm 29 now. I live with my girlfriend, who is the kindest, most patient, most genuinely loving person I've ever met. She makes me feel safe. She holds me when I wake up sweating from nightmares. She knows the whole story and never looks at me with pity, just love. And I know that if I hadn't gotten out when I did, I wouldn't have this life. I wouldn't have her. My mother still thinks I should come home for the holidays, still tries to guilt me through my sister. But my sister stopped trying to play mediator once I told her everything. She gets it now. She doesn't bring it up unless I do. She's the only one from that side of the family I still speak to. And maybe that's how it'll always be. Maybe she'll die someday without ever really understanding what she did to me. Maybe she doesn't think she did anything wrong. But I'm done trying to explain. I'm done trying to make someone see pain they've chosen to ignore. I don't live in fear anymore, and I'm not going back.